at 1013 and 1021. If you come off of Columbia Pike, a block in on the right-hand side of where the lots are, before you reach the incomplete building, which we had nothing to do with. But our purpose is to come before you tonight to explain the project to you, to answer any questions that you might have on it. These lots were subdivided in 1917. Mrs. Butler has owned them for a number of years. She is in poor health, unable to attend the meeting tonight. So we are here basically as contract purchasers of those two lots. In order to build on those lots, they originally were buildable lots. The ordinances adopted in 1952 restricted the development size of that house. So there's a ordinance or state code which provides that once a lot is buildable, that's a vested right, and that right cannot be taken away from you. So that's why we're seeking a variance to make the construction of a viable building on those lots. And its hearing is set down in April. And, my son, Andy, is actually the president of the company now. He's been president for approximately 10 years, and he will go ahead and explain the project and answer any questions that you might have.
I just want to point out that the notice on the agenda was an address that was not even in the neighborhood, so some neighbors may not be aware of that it's relevant to a property in our neighborhood. It says 2013 South Queen, so that surprised me. I thought it was someplace maybe over in the country club.
The notice that came out here?
Yeah, the notice. So there'll be some in the neighborhood may not have shown up tonight, not thinking it was so relevant, but I'm aware of those two properties. So just want to make that known and that there may be need for further.
Okay, that's great. And Mr. Hubbard has copies of the information that I'm going to distribute tonight. I don't have copies enough for everyone, so you'll have to share. But he has copies of these. As we want to let you know who we are, what we would like to do, and get your input on it. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, we're here to address those. So you'll have to, like I said, you'll have to look over with your neighbors. I got a few more plats if any of you guys want to see them. And what I'll do is we are requesting variances to the lot lines, front, back, and left or right, depending on which lot you're looking at, in order to be able to build a small house. One house is 775 square feet. The other house is 900 square foot footprint. And in order to make these buildable lots, we need to request a variance. So we're here in front of the neighborhood organization tonight, advising you as to what we would like to do. And like I said, we're available either to meet on the property at some point, or if there's neighbors that aren't here that would like, that have concerns. I live just across Columbia Pike and Penrose, so it's no problem for me to pop over, most evenings. And so if you're looking at the plat, you can see, so this property is, I guess it does have an address now. It didn't originally, but it's, what's the address, Dad?
1021 and 1023.
So 1021 and 1023. It's currently 3 vacant lots in between 2 homes. We're looking at, if you're looking at the property, putting in 2 new single-family homes, individual structures. The one on the left side, which is the south side, would be no closer than 8 feet to the property line, or 7.5 at the back, I guess, but that house is 25 or 30 feet, so no closer than, let's call it 42 feet on the left. And then on the right, that house, the north house, would again be no closer than I don't know exactly what the setback is there, but let's call it 8, no closer than 33 feet to the house on the right. So we're trying to give space between the existing houses, but it'll be a little bit closer to the front of Queen Street and to the rear. And the rear, in case you're not familiar with the property, of the property is set about 10 feet below the street behind it. What is that, Quinn Street, I believe. And so the houses on Quinn Street will essentially be looking either midway into the second floor or at the roof because of the differential in height on the houses. But like I said, what we're requesting is a variance to either the left or right side, the front and back, and then actually the other one is on the south lot, lot coverage. Arlington County zoning ordinances say that you can cover X amount of lot with your house because depending on whether you have a front stoop, and there's a lot of variables, but we will go over that with the small house that we're looking at because of the lot size. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I need to be able to visualize. Can you?
Towards the bridge construction on Columbia Pike. And you go past Quinn Street, and then you take a right just
On
after the
Queen.
stoplight on Queen Street.
Right.
It's, you go past, where there's townhomes there on the right, and then there's a single-family home, and then it's just after that, so it's before 12th Street. It's in between 10th and 12th Street on the right side. You know where the lot on the left side?
Where is it? Yeah, is that lot in between those two houses?
Yeah, right.
That's all I thought, but I
Yeah, right.
That's much easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, so currently there's nothing on it. There's,
Right.
it's grass, and it's up about 4 feet from
Okay,
Queen Street.
thank you.
And so we're asking for variances from the county, I think that pretty well, yes.
Are these houses gonna have off-street parking?
Yes, good question. So yes, they will each have a minimum of 2 spaces off-street parking. And if we can create more space off-street parking, we will.
Do you know approximately above ground the completed square footage of the two, just to give a sense of?
775 times 2, so that's 1,500 or 1,450, and then 900, 1,800. So we're
So
looking
these
at less
aren't
than.
mega mansions?
They're less than 2,000 square
Right,
feet.
okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you can see the floor plan, so it's 3 bedrooms upstairs. Downstairs, we've got a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen, all, right in a row. So no, they're very modest houses. I don't think you've seen a house this small being built in Arlington in the past 20 years.
On par with what's currently in the neighborhood?
Very much so. I mean, and in designing these houses, we looked at the setbacks, we looked at the size and the scale, and so in my opinion, it's very much on par with what's in the neighborhood. So they're smaller houses. I mean, I don't know where you live or what your house is, but if you live in this neighborhood, maybe 1,500 square feet?
His is smaller than mine.
And we're smaller. Yeah, exactly. Yes, sir.
So what are the rear yards of these?
Well, the rear yard is 4 or 5 foot setback there, but the reality of it is that the rear yards are looking right into a hill, so there
The
is.
reality is the rear yard should be 25 feet.
The setbacks,
Setback.
as provided per zoning,
Right.
require a front and a rear setback of 25 feet, yes.
Right. So these are 5
Right.
and 3 feet even.
Yep. No, that's 3 feet from the stoop, so 5, 5.8, 5, and 5.8. So 5, 5 to 6,
And not 25.
correct.
Is that the basis of the variance?
That's one. So we're requesting several variances, the left and right side yard, depending on which house you're looking at, the rear and front yard, and then the lot coverage.
What are the ranges in code now for size?
So on the left and right, you're required to have a total of 18 feet, minimum of 8 on the left or the right, so you could have 8 on the left and 10 on the right, or 9 on the right, 9 on the left, but a total of 18, 8 left, 10 right, or vice versa, and then 25 front, 25 back.
So what are you asking for variances from left and right?
So left to right, it is, so going from north to south, on the north house, we're asking for a variance on the left side yard, the south side yard, from 8 feet to 5 feet. And then on the south house, we're asking the variance from 8 feet to 5 feet, and then, from 8 feet to 5 feet, and then, and that's the left and right variances.
So it looks on here like the driveway for the, I'm assuming south house, the left house,
Uh-huh,
is gonna be right up against the wood fence that's there, which is my wood fence.
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna be right up against,
it'll be up to the property line, yes.
We live there.
Okay, yeah.
She blew it.
Okay, yeah, no, it'll be up to, I saw you, I saw you at your house before you came in, so I know who you were. I was driving by the past property, I saw you getting into your car. But yeah, so it'll be on our property, but it'll be right up to that fence. And your house is how far from that property line, do you know? 25, 30 feet? I mean, it's not right up against it.
the garage is probably 10 feet.
Yeah.
And the house is, but anyway, but yes, that's what it is.
Okay, so you gave me the square footage of the houses. When you subdivide the lots, what will be the approximate square footage of each lot?
The lots are already subdivided and created. They were created in 1917 and have already been found buildable lots, so they're already created lots. The north lot is 2,328 square feet. The south lot is 2,197 square feet.
Okay, so those are tiny lots.
They're tiny lots.
Okay.
Have you submitted this to zoning, and have they approved this already? Because this, procedurally, it seems to conflict with a lot of their procedures down there. You know, you can't combine lots, this would be a re-subdivision.
No, so they're already subdivided,
Yeah,
so it's not a
Into three,
re-subdivision.
right?
What's that?
They're divided into 3 lots.
Correct. Yeah, so you've
So
got.
you have to change it to 2.
No. We're looking at building houses on 2 lots. So
where the third
procedurally,
lot is vacant then?
the way it goes is, in order to request a variance, we have to submit to the BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and we've already done that. So there's an application here which I'd be happy to make available for your review. And the procedure is you submit to the BZA makes a ruling on the variances, and so they could approve or reject
And
these.
what's the recommendation of the county staff on this? That's a first step.
Well, yeah, if I may, they will have a report which will come out April the 4th. And the 3 lots, the third lot, we've combined with basically the second lot, one furthest to the north. And so what's being done with that is just by right. So we're using the 2 of them, which the county zoning is approved for coverage. And because we're taking that third lot and putting it with that second lot, zoning is signed off on using that in conjunction with the developer.
I'd be interested in seeing that. And again, I'm not against development. I think there are others who may have views on this. I believe in an urban area, we have to have the flexibility. However, in this environment, if there's a recommendation of a civic association that you're seeking, I think that it has to, like I believe we approved one for Ms. Butler before, that those standards should be applied to every homeowner in the neighborhood or any property owner seeking such a variance in the future. And it's a use permit nowadays, not a variance.
No, I mean,
So
there
that
is a use
that's
permit and there's a
point.
variance permit, so they're different things. So, I mean, we're not applying for a use permit, we're applying for a variance permit. So we don't, for a use permit, you go in front of the county board. We don't have to go in front of the county board, we have to go in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So it's minutia, but there
I
is a difference.
just want to make that important point, that there should be non-discrimination in whatever view that this civic association applies, that this is not an ad hoc decision, that these
Absolutely.
flexibilities we've exhibited towards each one coming forward should be
Absolutely.
a standard we set and not
Yeah.
ad hoc.
I would point out, which I mentioned, is that these lots were previously subdivided to the zoning ordinance. And so there's a vested right.
Right, well, they
They
were
built that.
pre-existed the zoning ordinance.
That's right.
Is the-
So that puts them in a different category relative to use and building permit. And these variances that we were seeking, I hate to mention it, but are not any different from the ones that were granted across the street where the house is not completed. by the.
This is the one I referred to. I believe in consistency and transparency and non-discrimination going forward. Now, I don't have a direct interest in this like the immediate neighbors.
That they would consider these and not reject them out of sight, but they have to submit a written report to the Board of Zoning Appeals. That report should be out April 4th.
And you have a question. Let me just say one more thing, and to take a step back for a second. This is not required by the Board of Zoning Appeals. This is something that we wanted to do as outreach to the community. So there will be the codified process with which we're following, where there's notification to neighbors, where the things are posted up. And if and I don't know exactly when those are going out, but you will be notified per the rules of the BZA hearing. Yes, ma'am.
So I went on your website, and I also noticed on here you talk a lot about your green housing, gold certified. Will these be green buildings, and also are they being built specifically for someone, or they're being built to then put on the market for sale?
They will be Arlington County Green Home Choice buildings. We haven't gotten to that point yet, so I haven't gone through and done the specifications, but we will submit them as Arlington County Green Home Choice buildings, and we do not have buyers for them.
Okay, so they'll be marketed just on the MLS?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten that far as to exactly what's going on. I mean, if we have a buyer for it, we'll talk about it then. Whether it's, whether we keep them or whether we market them. We haven't gotten that far. We've invested, some time and money in developing plans, but I haven't gotten to the specification or the pricing or even the architectural plans. We've just done the sketches.
The formal process that you mentioned, is that at the beginning, would we get notified at the beginning of the process or after the variance report has already been done?
I think the staff will do the variance report prior to the notification, correct?
I'm not sure. It'd be prior to the hearing, and then
Okay, that's what I meant.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you'll be
You'll have
notified.
a chance to go to the hearing, raise any objections you might have or concerns. They'll present the request of what's being, what they want a variance for, and you can be present to listen to that entire discussion and raise any concerns. Because you're an adjacent neighbor, right? Yeah.
And to be clear, I mean that's why we're here, is we want to hear what your concerns are, so that if there's ways that we can mitigate any potential issues you have. We're here. We want to listen. Yeah. No. Okay. I got some. But I mean that's what. So I mean, if you want to speak after the meeting, I'm available. Yeah. My card is there. If you want to meet on site, to do whatever you want, or I'll give you my card after the meeting. That's why we're here. We want to be good neighbors. Is there a question over?
I'll just make one point in terms of the setbacks on the side too. Over, the old way of doing things, I think my lot line, my one addition is like 3 or 4 feet from the lot line, and then my 8-foot driveway goes right up to the other lot line. So it's been done in this neighborhood. That's how they did it back. My house was built in '48. So the lot lines have gotten a lot broader over the years, or deeper, and so this kind of looks like it would still fit within the different setbacks that were done at some point in this neighborhood.
And thank you. And if you look at the ones on Queen Street, I think you did a more in-depth analysis of that, but I mean, many of the houses on Queen Street are not 25 feet back. And further, the reality of it is that Queen Street took up some of Mrs. Butler's property. I mean, there's a couple of issues there, but one of the reasons we're asking for a setback in the front that's less than might appear to be usual is because Queen Street is on her property.
There was never any filing or taking by the county of the street in front of that lot.
Are these going to be brick house homes or prefabs or what?
We haven't gotten to that level.
There'll be brick on the front. Plan show brick on the front.
And we haven't gotten to the level of specifying. So brick on the front, I'm not sure what it'll be around the side, but brick on the front, and then I haven't looked at whether we're going to do module building, but it'll be good quality construction. We're not talking about bringing, trailers in there. We're talking about single-family home construction, and we are home builders in this area, and we've built a lot. Actually, my father built the house that I live in currently. He built it back in 1978, and I was lucky enough to be able to purchase from him. So that's what we're looking. I mean, it'll be good quality construction.
Just to clarify, are you the exclusive contract party on the property?
Yes, right? There's no one else that. Yeah. And we haven't bought the property. It's Mrs. Butler's property, but she's gone through several people that have said
We're the contract purchasers.
Oh, exclusively. You're purchasing the properties if the county approves.
if they don't.
Then we can be friends.
I think we can be friends anyway.
So your purpose in being here tonight is to just inform us, or is it to get approval or disapproval, or what's your purpose in being here tonight?
Just to inform you, to tell you who we are, where we are, give you my information so that if you have any questions or concerns, you can bring those to me, and or if there's other neighbors that weren't able to attend here, if they want to talk to me, either phone, email, or meet in person, to give you my information. So information exchange.
What's the time frame that you anticipate that this will be going through the county, the hearings, or at what point could you?
Well, Mrs. Butler has a title problem, and so the chain of title is not clear at this point. So they're trying to clear that up. So as soon as they get that cleared up, we would be ready to settle. So I can't give you a definite answer, but they're working on it.
Again, when is the hearing? April?
April the 9th.
Usually these things are in the pipeline for 2-3 months in advance. There's not a final product of the zoning commission, the zoning staff on this yet?
So their report will come out April the 4th, or no later than April the 4th.
So we have no information on that.
We filed the process that the county has set.
Yeah. Okay.
So will you be coming?
The zoning hearing is April the 9th.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be coming back to Arlington View Civic Association for some type of approval?
We hadn't discussed it. I mean, would you like us to?
Is that conceivably part of the process, given that you're asking for these variances?
I guess probably not, because the April Board of Zoning will have already met by that point in time, so this is our opportunity to speak with you. But I mean, if you have any questions or concerns further on down the road, I'd be happy to come back.
So you've already applied for the variance, correct?
Correct.
And that was done when?
I think the submission was due February 24th. So we applied for it on February 24th. I don't remember the exact timeline, but yeah. So we developed these plans over several months while talking to the county in conjunction with their rules for applying for a variance. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I was just wondering, there's a brick house, and there are 3 lots. How does it look on your design fit in with the brick house that's already there?
That's your house, I believe, the one on the left or the one on the right?
Next to the top lot.
That's ours.
So, I think that, the one on the right is vinyl, and the one on the left, when we pull it up, I've got pictures here, and I'll tell you.